Hi guys, welcome to this video. I'm Prashant, I'm the founder of Wordpandit, and in this video I'm going to take you through the preparation strategy for NMAT VARC. What is it that you need to do? How do you prepare for it? The focus of this particular video is going to be NMAT VARC and VARC alone. I'm going to put up a separate video for NMAT prep as well, but we will get started with the VARC section. Now what I'm going to do in the video is I'm going to pick up the previous year NMAT exam, derive key learnings from the same, analyze the pattern, and based on this I'm going to give you advice that what is it that you need to focus on. There were some minor format changes in the last year. We're going to cover those as well. Overall, the exam has a healthy mix of topics, and the thing about NMAT is it's a very consistent examination. So this line is actually very important. It's very consistent in its theme, pattern, method, approach. So you can expect a similar sort of exam this way as well. Now the good thing with a consistent exam is you can prepare for it. You know the areas that you've got to target. Which are these areas? What's the pattern? Let's get started. First thing, last year what they did was instead of 32 questions in the language skills section, they had 36 questions, and the time limit went up from 22 to 28 minutes. This is for the language skills sections alone. So overall, if you look at it, just 4 questions were increased, but you had an increase of 6 minutes. So fractionally more time to solve the section. Still, it is a challenge, right? 28 minutes, 36 verbal questions. It's a big challenge, right? You've really got to push yourself. The scoring of NMAT also changed, and there were higher scores reported. The scoring in general in terms of the scores that were reported. Also, there were 18 questions in the verbal reasoning section, right? So these were in the reasoning portion of the exam, 18 questions from verbal reasoning. So that's heavy representation. So English, and if you keep in mind topics related to English, verbal ability, verbal reasoning, these were present in 2 sections, the reasoning section as well as the language skills sections. Let's look at particular breakups as well. Now the language skills section, it had 36 questions, 28 minutes. We covered that previously. There were 3 passages of 4 questions each. This is the consistent pattern of NMAT. Parajumbles 4 to 5 questions, analogies 5 to 6 questions, fill in the blank questions which cover both grammar and vocabulary 4 questions, 3 preposition based questions. These are very simple questions which ask you to identify the correct prepositions that need to be filled in, and 6 questions which were based on spotting the error. So these were grammar based questions. So you can see there is a balance between RCs, parajumbles, analogies, fill in the blanks, and grammar error based questions. So that's what is being probed in the examination. Now if you go further into the verbal reasoning section, right, now out of these questions, right, the 36 questions which are to be solved in 52 minutes, 18 questions were non-verbal reasoning and 18 were verbal reasoning. So non-verbal reasoning had groups, conditionalities, Venn diagrams, ranking, etc. The verbal reasoning portion had implicit statements, strong weak argument, courses of action, decision making. So this is 100% verbal reasoning. Then it had critical reasoning, strength and weaken, assumption questions, 5 of these, 1 logical consistency question, and 2 syllogisms questions. So a healthy mix of syllogisms, logical consistency, verbal reasoning, and critical reasoning. So these are the topics that appear in the examination. These 2 slides should give you an idea of what is it that you need to prepare for, right? These are the topics that are asked. It's very consistent, the exam, so you should expect these topics. Critical reasoning, super important. Verbal reasoning, super important. Parajumble, super important. These are the areas from reasoning. Vocabulary, analogies, and fill in the blanks are important. And grammar, basic concepts are tested. Pronouns, parts of speech, subject verb agreement, verb tense, right? So basic parallelism, modifiers, basic errors in grammar are tested. 4 questions per RC. You've got RCs, you've got inference, specific detail, reasoning based questions, all types of questions. These are generally decent level RCs. So if you place CAT prep along 4 levels, and if you say that CAT has 4 levels to it, right? Then you can say if CAT is level 4, then NMAT is level 2 and 3, right? So that's the level differentiation. As far as our practice portion goes, you should practice level 3, some level 4 passages and RC sprints from the dashboard. That's sufficient practice. NMAT official guide can also be used for practice, right? So these are the areas that you've got to practice from. In case you are not a Wordpandit student, then CAT RCs, previous year CAT RCs, you can practice those, but the NMAT official guide ones would be closer to the actual exam. So that's something that you've got to keep in mind. As far as your preparation goes, please, critical reasoning, go through a lot of preparation. 200 CR questions are a must. Remember, if you prepare CR, a good level of questions, right, you get sorted for NMAT as well as ZAT. So that's, you basically kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So 200 plus questions. Parajumbles practice from the dashboard, or use previous year CAT questions. That's something that you've got to do. Grammar cover, we've covered all grammar topics in the course dashboard. You do that. Otherwise, if you're not part of the course, you cover topics such as parts of speech, pronouns, subject verb agreement, verb tense errors, parallel structure and modifiers, and general miscellaneous grammar usage errors, right? So these are the topics that you've got to cover. For vocabulary, you cover the 120-day vocab builder. You solve lots of fill-in-the-blank questions, sentence completion. You solve lots of analogy questions. So these are the two topics that everyone should focus on. You should solve these. For building vocabulary, you can use the book Word Power Made Easy, 6 weeks to Words of Power. If you watched all 4 of our videos, right, all 4 of my videos on NMAT, IFT, SNAP and ZAT Prep, this includes this video as well. Remember, these are the 2 consistent books that I recommend, Word Power Made Easy or 6 weeks to Words of Power. You can pick any out of these two. Depends on which method do you like. This is Word Power Made Easy is based on word roots. 6 weeks to Words of Power is based on word clusters. So there is a differentiation in method that these 2 books adopt. Whichever you like, you pick that up and you go through that particular book. This is what you've got to do overall for the exam. These are the things that you've got to do as far as the areas are concerned. One more thing that has not been mentioned here, which you should focus on, is verbal reasoning. All the topics mentioned in a couple of slides back, you can go back to that slide, right? This is the one that I'm talking about, right? These are topics that you've got to focus on: implicit statements, strong, weak arguments, courses of action. Now you guys will ask me, where do we find these questions? You'll not find these questions, you'll not find a lot of these questions in CAT prep books, but you'll find a lot of these questions in Bank PO SSC entrance exams, right? So Bank PO books, you would generally feature these questions. You also got a couple of books from leading publications such as Arihant and RS Agarwal, which have questions from these particular topics. You would have verbal reasoning questions. So that's the area. Those are the books that you can target. Only pick leading publications. Otherwise, answer keys can be pretty problematic for these question types. Now, as far as mocks and practice tests go, you should take as many as possible. Whichever test series you're subscribed to, please make sure you take 5+ tests, bare minimum. Remember, speed is the biggest determiner for NMAT. You need to be very efficient in the exam. You learn that efficiency by taking up a lot of mock tests. So do not skip mock tests. Do not skip on practice tests. That's something that you've got to do. That's the final cherry that has to be placed right on top of your preparation cake. I know that's I'm trying to lighten the mood here a little. It's a weak attempt at it, but still you've got to do that. Place that cherry on the top by taking up as many mocks and practice tests as you can. These are the things that you've got to do. These are the resources that you can use. This is how you can go about NMAT prep, and this is what you should be doing for it. Hopefully so, your preparation strategy is clear. Thank you very much for going through this video, and as always, happy learning.